And let me introduce to you again, Richard Ward.
Pools, eh? The old game. So, what I'd like to do is just run through a little bit around what we think we know, and I say what we think we know rather than what we actually know, because polls don't tell us anything. And then we'll move on to some potential things that might happen, could happen, and we'll look at what role that supporters can play as a one supporters group. So we know that there is little clarity from polls. We know there's a lot of money missing. Missing is probably the wrong word. There's a lot of money that needs to run that club. We're allegedly £2 million in debt. Yet in 2015 we were completely debt free. So somebody's done something to lose a lot of money. We're allegedly losing £130,000 a month, which just at this level is just absurd. Now, somebody said to us when Pam announced that she was trying to sell the club and the books were available, somebody said, can't I trust demand to show the books? I can't trust demand to see the books. Well, no, we can't, because Hartlepool United is a private, limited company. There's absolutely nothing we can do to force them to see the books. But what I will say is, in this room and in other rooms, Pam Duxbury offered the supporters the books. She offered to show us the books, to allow us, through Supporters Direct, through Nick Igo, who's ex-West Ham's finance director. This is a guy who knows about books for football clubs. To allow us to see what the state of the club, to see what we can do as fans to involve ourselves in the running of the club. No comment on the rumours. £200,000 we need in January. Who said that? The club didn't say that, but people set out trying to raise that money out of good faith. The January's bills were essentially paid by people's hard-earned money. The Just Giving campaign for Rachel was brilliant. Save Pools Days was an absolute success. You were talking nearly £200,000 of money gone into that club because of what fans have done. And that is amazing. And we absolutely, as a board and as a trust, we should commend that. We should congratulate both of those campaigns because they were successful. But that's not sustainable. Once you've milked the cow, you can't milk it again. Once that money's gone, there's no money left. And if pools disappear, or if pools go into administration, or if there isn't a night on a big horse comes riding in, we won't have any money left. So that we know there are three options. One of three things is going to happen now. One, probably the preferable, I'd say definitely the preferable, is we're going to get a new owner. With fans, we have no control over that new owner. The process is entirely controlled by Sage. We don't know what they're asking for. We don't know what they want for the club. We don't know what terms they want for the club. We know that they've brought in a guy called Insolvency Jeff, which that's not a good sign, is it? But we don't control that. They control that. It might not be an individual owner. It could be a consortium. And what we're hearing is that in the background there is still some interest as a consortium. Is that true or not? Who knows? It may or may not include the fans. It won't include the fans if we give away all of our money for free, for nothing. What the Supporters Trust wants to do is raise some money so that we, the fans, can have some control of this process. We can be involved as decision makers, not as simple individual customers. If we get a new owner, theoretically, the threat of administration disappears, because if you're a new owner, you come in and you don't turn it into administration the following month. But whoever it is, be it consortium, individual, very rich man from Wynyard, whoever it is needs to change the business model, because the business model at Hartlepool United fails. It's not brought us success, it's brought us the worst team we've ever had, the worst league position we've ever been in, and the worst finances we've ever seen. That's a broken business model. Whoever comes in needs to do something differently. And if we are fans and we're involved, then we need to tell whoever is involved that that's how it needs to be done. The problem we have is, how are we going to get a new owner when the richest man in Hartlepool, a self-made millionaire, clearly a competent businessman, releases a statement that says, I don't really know what these books show me. How am I supposed to put a business plan together? Something is not right. How are you ever going to sell a club if you're not giving people the information that they need? And if Chris Musgrave can't find out that information, how the hell are we supposed to find out that information? If no new owner comes in, if no new investment's found, if we fans or whoever don't plug a massive gap, we'll go into administration. Administration will be brought on by one or two things. It could be the owners, because it's not allowed. If you're an insolvent company, you're not allowed to run them. And if you're a director like Pam Duxbury is, there can be pretty serious implications to her own assets if she tries to continue to run an insolvent company. So she could put us into administration, or the taxman, most likely HMRC, could put us into administration. That would remove stage investments, because now they wouldn't be involved, it would be the administrator. Now the administrator is only there for the creditors, which is mainly Sage. It's not there to run this football club. If the administrator comes in and says, there isn't enough money, there isn't enough interest in this club, he won't be there very long, because what the administrator wants more than anything is to get paid himself. And if there isn't enough money to pay the administrator, why would he hang around? It's not a magic bullet anyway, because let's be honest, we'll get a 10-point deduction, and that will relegate us if Craig Harrison doesn't do it just voluntarily. A debate for another day, maybe. It will clear some debts. It could clear some debts, but there'll still be some sort of voluntary agreement that would force the new owners of the club into paying some money back to Sage, unless by some stretch of the imagination they decided they'd let it go for nothing. All our football-related debts, so the football super creditors, so you've got your players, your managers, your other football clubs, PFA and the league. They all need paying in full, because if we don't do that, then you don't get out of punishment from the league. You might get out of administration, but you don't get out of punishment by the league. And even if we do all of that, and even if there's somebody to come in, you've then got to pay the administrator. Remember, this guy wants his money. £200,000, up to £200,000 just to get you out of administration. And then you still need to fund whatever debt agreement that's been agreed, and to go forward. There's a link at the bottom there if you want to read a bit more about football clubs and administration. If the worst really does come to the worst and we don't get out of administration, we go into liquidation. Good news, debt-free. Bad news, no club, nothing, no jobs, and it's tough for us to think about that there wouldn't be a Hartlepool United, but this is people's jobs. You know, people work at the club, people have been there for a long, long time, and that's heartbreaking that could happen. But if we are liquidated, nothing will exist. We're gone from the league. Hartlepool United in its form does not exist. Out of interest, so the room full of 150 people, if Hartlepool United went out of existence, and I'm going to use a phrase I don't really want to use, Hartlepool 1908 sprung up, who would still come to the match? So that's a pretty good turnout. That's not everybody, I get that, but that's over 90%. If we had gates of 3,000 at lower leagues, we could smash the league. That's what all the teams have done. But that's not where we want to get to, because that isn't Hartlepool United. The Trust are regularly accused of doing nothing. What have the Trust done? Never done anything. Never done anything to save Pauls, have you? We continue to speak to people behind the scenes. A lot of what we do is confidential. If you want to be a partner with somebody, you have to show that you're trustworthy, you have to show that you can respect their wishes. So it's important that when we do speak to other parties, is that we keep them quiet. The feedback we are given from people we've spoken to is, you must sort these fan divisions, because a fractured supporter base is not an interesting investment. It's not a safe investment. So we don't have to like each other. We're never going to. We're a group of people united by 11 guys kicking a football really badly. What we want to do is at least treat each other with a bit of respect. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to agree with each other. But if we continue the fighting between different fan groups, we're in trouble, because that's not attractive to investors. I said earlier, there is a possibility of a consortium. How close that is, I don't know. But why can't the fans get a seat at the table? What if we raise a load of money and we actually keep it in our pockets? and say to this consortium, well, we want to be part of this. Why don't we get a seat at the table? Well, the only way we can get a seat at the table is if we raise money for fans. And that's what the Supporters Trust wants to do. We were also speaking to the council, and yesterday we had a very good meeting with Mike Hill, MP for Hartlepool. These guys, bottom two, they want football in the town. They need football in the town. Up to £10 million into this local economy. Pubs and clubs and businesses relying on Hartlepool United or football in this town. So we know there's will to do that, and the Supporters Trust are speaking to these people to work out how we can work between these different groups to secure some form of football, ideally under a new ownership of the existing club going forward. The pound in the bank is your best friend. The nearer the money you get, the nastier people become. Equity is king in football clubs, and if you don't have shares of money, you'll find yourself sidelined from the big decisions. Start collecting cash now. That's not my words. Those are members of a Supporters Trust board member from Rangers. He came on one of the Facebook groups, one of the Hartlepool United Supporters Facebook group, and he gave a great 10-point plan. It was really good, absolutely crystal clear, and that was number one. So that's not my words, that's not the words of the Supporters Trust board. We're not saying, oh, should we fancy raising some cash? These are people who've been through it, they've seen it. They know that if you want to have any say in the future of this club, proper say, not just hoping that if we give enough charity we might last long enough to see out the season. If you want a proper say, we need some money, and that's what we're going to do. You can go to our website, hufcsportstrust.org.uk, and you can look up in the top corner and so fan-made clubs and frequently asked questions. This is a campaign that we launched at the end of last week. We launched it on Wednesday because as soon as the Chris Musgrave deal fell through, we launched it because that had to be the time that we started to look after ourselves. So Fans Make Clubs, it's about raising money in the community for the fans to give the fans a voice in what happens to the future of Hartlepool United Football Club. If we don't have any money, we're individual customers. We can go to the game, we can buy a pint, and we can buy a pie, and we can buy a programme. But if individually, that's not enough. If we combine together, we can actually become investors. Why can't we be the investors in our football club? We have another site as well, it's called buildwinningclub.org. This is through Supporters Direct, which you just said. That's to allow us to process card payments. It goes into a fund. There's a small commission that's payable. It stays within football in the community. It's used by Supporters Direct, but it's no different to a Just Giving campaign, for example, where there's a commission as well. But that's a part of our relationship with Supporters Direct. That's what these guys do, and you're going to hear more about that in a little bit.